Hello, everyone, and welcome to Got Thrones, a Game of Thrones podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Kolasinski, and with me, as ever, is my illustrious co-host, Alexandra August.
Hello, everyone.
We are here to close out our recap crash course of House of the Dragon Seasons 1 and 2 with our discussion of Season 2, Episode 8, The Queen Who Ever Was. And we're doing this just in time because, as of time of recording, this new season begins in just 6 short days. So even less time by the time this is in your AirPods.
Yep, that new season premieres on Sunday on HBO, Sunday, June 21st. I think I speak for both of us when we're probably feeling a sense of anticipation and dread.
Yeah, I am. I mean, granted, trade magazines are all there to build hype, but the preliminary word of mouth on this from reviewers is very strong. So
Great.
I am excited about that.
Where
And
can
people can find us at Got Thrones on Instagram, at Got_Thrones on TikTok, and at Got Thrones Podcast on YouTube.
pew pew pew. And we will have a roundtable with friends of the podcast Girls Gone Canon up this week as well. That is going to be a book spoiler and therefore probably maybe show spoiler heavy chat.
And we should have at least something preliminary we plan on doing on Sunday. So we should have the information for you, or rather our reactions pretty quickly.
Yeah, we will have hot take reactions. We are working on the format for what that will look like, but you will receive content Sunday immediately or somewhat immediately after the show's West Coast airing. And you will also receive a deep dive audio episode later on in the week when we've had a chance to really sink our teeth into it.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to that as well. The gnashing of the teeth.
The gnashing of the teeth. I'm glad that we did this rewatch and crash course. I feel like it definitely hyped me up.
Yeah. Yeah. If you've been listening throughout these last 18 episodes of discussion, you know that I was not on board with House of the Dragon first time around. And that has definitely changed. Even if I think that the last 5 minutes of this particular episode could have been an email.
That's such a good montage, though.
It was. I just didn't need it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It could, if it had happened last episode and then we gotten more, I would have been a little bit more into it.
That's the pacing is going to be, we have 8 episodes this season and 8 episodes for season 3. And what we have understood to be pretty truthful production rumor is that the first 2 episodes we will see in season 3 should have been 9 and 10, or were initially scoped to have been 9 and 10 of season 2. And so I am very curious how the pacing of season 3 goes, because they keep working themselves into episode debt, and this is even less than they had for season. But it's also, I'm being a little facetious because Fire and Blood is not Game of Thrones, so I have a little bit more faith in them building seasons that they know they can succeed at. But yeah, I'm curious to see.
Could have been a post-it note as far as the amount of content that they had to work off. That's facetious, but not by much.
Oh, man, Damon's post-it note would have been filled with the dumbest doodles.
It just would have been like an angry face, just like the straight line frown with a knife.
Speaking of Damon, should we pop into our recap of this episode?
I do want to bounce actually on one thing that you said about the season 2 as a whole and it being intended to be 10 episodes.
Yes.
A lot of that was the result of the writer's strike, which kind of put a quash on what they could do and still get things out on time. It was not a entirely HBO saying how about less, and it was also am I right that it was during the acquisition as well?
Oh, who even remembers? Probably.
Yeah, probably. So yeah,
that's
just
going great, guys. By the way.
Yeah. I don't know. HBO, despite itself, has been doing some great content.
HBO, yeah, no, I actually found myself saying that thinking that the last couple of weeks as we finished up another round of their Sunday shows and just been like, HBO remains consistently challenging when it comes to both narrative and the medium of television itself. It doesn't always succeed, but that sort of to me is the mark of a good creative environment to a degree. People are taking chances, and if you're going to do that, you have to be okay with a little bit of a John from Cincinnati here and there. But by and large,
Mm.
H-
If you're going to get the pit.
yeah, but by and large, HBO has still had a commitment. Much like I look to NBC when I think of network broadcast comedy, they have in common that they continue to raise the bar where they can. And not every show is going to be raising the bar of creativity. Some of them are going to be more commercially focused. But at the same time, I find that I'm surprised and impressed. And I'm guessing this has to do with a lot of the executive leadership, which has remained really consistent over at least the last 10 years. But I'm impressed and surprised that they've managed to maintain this kind of creative identity in
Yeah.
this current media landscape. We'll see how long it lasts.
Yeah.
We'll see what
Ask us in
what
8
the
weeks.
Ellisons have in store.
But with that little aside in Essos, do you want to have a recap of this pretty hefty episode?
It's a pretty hefty episode. Yeah, let's get into it.
Why don't you kick us off in Tyrosh?
In Tyrosh, Tywin Lannister negotiates with the Triarchy for their fleet to help break the Valerian shipping blockade. They agree, but demand control over the Stepstones. Admiral Shirako Lohar sets sail for Westeros with the Triarchy's fleet.
In the Crownlands, in response to Rhaenyra's additional dragons, Aemond flies Vhagar and destroys Sharp Point, a town belonging to one of Rhaenyra's council members. During the march on Harrenhal, Gwaine Hightower sees Criston Cole with Alicent's handkerchief and accuses him of breaking his Kingsguard vows. Criston tells Gwaine that he believes they are heading towards annihilation by Rhaenyra's dragons.
In King's Landing, Larys Strong tells Aegon of Rhaenyra's new dragon riders and proposes that he and Aegon hide in Essos and reclaim the throne after Aemond and Rhaenyra have destroyed each other. Later, they secretly depart from the city in a covered wagon. Aemond demands that Helaena ride her dragon Dreamfire into battle. She refuses, but Alicent intervenes. Later, Aemond tries to gently persuade Helaena, but she tells him that she knows he'd burnt Aegon at Rook's Rest, and she reveals that she's foreseen his death. Burn.
Literally. At Driftmark, Corlys Velaryon advises Rhaenyra to quickly utilize her newfound military advantage of more dragon riders. Corlys tries to bond with Alan, who rebuffs his paternal attempts. Corlys and Alan set sail aboard Corlys's flagship, renamed the Queen Who Ever Was, to join the Valerian blockade.
At Harrenhal, Sir Alfred Broom arises Rhaenyra's emissary, and surveying Daemon's army of rivermen pledges to follow him if he proclaims himself king. Alarmed, Eternal Goat, Sir Simon Strong, sends Rhaenyra a raven warning that Daemon may be traitorous. Alice leads Daemon to a weirwood tree, saying he is ready to see his fate. Daemon touches the tree and sees visions of the future and pieces of the Song of Ice and Fire. Helaena also appears to Daemon, stating that he now knows the full story and his role in it. When Rhaenyra and Adam finally arrive at Harrenhal and Dragonback the next day, Daemon reveals to Rhaenyra that he knows of the Song of Ice and Fire and reaffirms his loyalty to her, bending the knee alongside the Rivermen.
In the Vale, exhausted from scouting the harsh countryside without sustenance or shelter, Rhaena finally encounters the wild dragon as it devours sheep.
At Dragonstone, Baela empathizes with Jace, expressing her concerns over civilian casualties, as does Rhaenyra. Mysaria counsels her to remain strong as she has a major tactical advantage. During supper, Rhaenyra promises knighthood to Adam, Hugh, and Ulf if they serve her well, and announces they leave in 2 days to attack Lannisport and Old Town. Late at night, Alicent secretly arrives on Dragonstone and admits to Rhaenyra her faults that helped cause the conflict and offers to let her peacefully take King's Landing after Aemond leaves for the Riverlands. In exchange, she pleads for her and her children's lives. But Rhaenyra insists she must take Aegon's life to end the war and secure the throne. Alicent seemingly acknowledges that and departs the castle, promising that the gates of King's Landing will be opened in 3 days' time.
Across Westeros in a montage, In the Reach, the Hightower host marches north, accompanied by Prince Daeron Targaryen on his dragon Tessarion. At the Twins, House Stark's army crosses south. In the Westerlands, Jason Lannister and Humphrey Lefford lead their host east. And somewhere unknown, Otto Hightower is held captive.
Ooh. Good job, us.
Yeah.
That was
Good
cool.
job, us.
We just
Also,
we really
HBO.
Yeah, and whoever recapped this for the wiki, that was saved me a lot of work.
Yeah. I. What were your initial thoughts on the episode as a whole,
It was
broadly?
kind of another example of a deep fried lasagna. So delicious, so filling, so
Hmm.
much, so dramatic. It was firing on all cylinders. I will say, zooming out, I feel like I can see, oh yeah, especially the episode previous, it feels like we could see where 9 and 10 would have made sense with this cadence. But honestly, I like that whatever happened behind the scenes allowed them to break that pattern a little bit, because I think the more often that you hit the penultimate episode is the most actionable episode trope, the more eventually it just locks you into finales that nobody's anticipating at all. And this was up in the air in terms of what to expect narratively. And I left feeling like just deeply satisfied.
Yeah.
How
Okay.
about you?
I felt this is one of the episodes that I felt dragged. There were so many moving pieces that they had to get in place that it didn't feel like it had a strong through line for me. And so while I really liked every individual, going back to your deep fried lasagna, I liked every individual bite, but it didn't feel cohesive.
I can see, yeah, that makes sense. There truly were so many different moving pieces, and I agree with you. I found things to love in all of them. It was so lush with just character moments whether it's mud wrestling or Sir Simon Strong just being the most okay, just everybody kind of, there were some deeply satisfying moments, but I found myself at the end with the music being like, okay, all right, I got it. Can we just fucking get
Yeah.
on with it at this point? You guys are gilding this lily. But kind of just at the end. If yeah, but
I loved all of Damon's scenes. I know we want to talk specifically about some of the visions and things like that. And I loved Corliss with Alan, or rather Alan with Corliss, because he was the one who was
should we
like
pop into
just
our
yeah.
top three
Let's
moments?
go to the boards.
Oh no,
Oh, top
or,
three moments. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I would definitely call the Alan and Corliss scene probably one of my not just favorite moments of the episode, but favorite moments of the season, especially when you compare it to how Adam reacted to the absence of Corliss, and it was, well, now I have to take every advantage I can get. Meanwhile, Alan's is, I'm going to earn everything. I am not a nepo baby, and you can't just show up with 25 years worth of Christmas presents and think that everything's going to be okay.
That was, yeah, it was interesting because you see how Alan and Adam are similar, and how Alan is just like, I don't want your help. I don't want to be
Mm.
tied to you. I don't want, maybe that's coming forth now in this emotion, but you realize that Alan hasn't taken anything from his father because he doesn't want to take anything from someone who failed at his most basic duty, which was to take care of his children. Alan doesn't want to be
Hmm.
associated with this guy. In his heart of hearts, he has a lot of judgment for the way I would too,
Yeah.
for the way that Corliss handled his wandering seed.
Mm-hmm. It was really well done, really, really well performed. What about you? What would you call one of your top ones?
I liked the. I got goosebumps during the Damon dreams. And I thought the person walking through the mud before it gets to Daenerys was Jon Snow, because I'm like, oh, okay, so if they're I know this kind of leads to Daenerys, but really the fun part about the Targaryen from this perspective is, you know, that there were two Targaryen lines and two princes who were promised, more or less.
Hmm.
Um, anyway, so that was thrilling. But what I loved even more, because I was a little disappointed that he and Alice didn't get down, but what I loved even more was what came after that, which was Helena and Aemon trying to be persuasive this time and ask her to ride into battle with him and be nice. And the way, comparatively to Damon, who is just like, I don't like drugs. What is this LSD? What does anything mean? Helena's, get the fuck away from me. I have seen that you murdered our brother. I've seen your death. I have seen that our brother's gonna be back on the throne. So just keep your shit. Do what you're gonna do. It's not gonna change anything. And it's one of the few moments that we see Helena as an expert in her field, for lack of a better word. And it's her moments of strength we take for granted that she's always gonna be pliable because she's mentally cannot play this game. But I like the fact that the show makes her consistent in the way that she always sees the truth. She always tells the truth. And those things are very powerful.
Yeah. The entirety of the vision I really liked, but yeah, going to what you said, especially seeing Daenerys there and reminding us that this is a prequel
Yep.
and that they are all working towards something,
Yep.
even if they don't know it.
That was the fun part about it. Was a little cheesy, Damon and Rhaenyra at the end, but I liked that what he really learned was humility. He learned that he is
Yeah.
just a piece on the board, and he learned to put others above himself, his own self-interest. Be like, hey, this is great. You know what we do? I see the long plan. Thank you for looping me in. Moving forward, happy
Will
to
that
be here.
stick? Who knows?
Who knows?
But for today, I also, and this is something I think I brought up on our conversation that you'll be hearing with Girls Gone Canon, but Larys and Aegon, like the fact that I'm in their corner
It's so weird.
is upsetting, but I'm in their corner.
But also,
In the last episode, there was that talk of the third son, and what's he like? He's kind. And we see Aegon get 2 exits out of King's Landing, and he's already a better person.
yep, yep. Leave toxic environments, folks. Put down what doesn't serve you, which Alicent tries valiantly to do today, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for it.
When she's trying to put down what doesn't serve her, what doesn't serve her is Aegon, and she's trying to put him down.
She's put your mask on first. What about you? What was another hit point that you wanted to?
Yeah, that Aegon Larys was definitely one for me, and I'd say one more. I'm going to give it a not hit point. Point that didn't hit was the Alicent Rhaenyra.
No,
No, it was just a little bit too rehash of a
it
conversation.
felt that was where I felt the episode drag. Because yeah, I was like some of the stuff I loved, like when they're being teenagers, she's like, "Look at you with the lover," and she's like, "Oh." That was really delightful. But then it's just kind of them. It felt like the conversation was like, "Okay, we need to get to this outcome, so let's write lines that get us to that outcome." It didn't really feel as organic.
It was the 5 minutes we got that was Game of Thrones season 8.
Yeah, yeah,
Of oh well, the pieces must get where the pieces must go.
yep.
Any other highlights for you?
Just Kristen and his Nirvana era. Just the way Gwaine just like cannot win with Kristen, cannot win for Tryon. Even when he tries to attack him for 1000% breaking his Kingsguard vows, Kristen is just enough of a drag to ruin that. And I was so mad that Alicent did not be like, oh yeah, it's my lover is Kristen Cole, by the way. And they didn't have that. Would have been a really fun little kiki to have instead of them like being like, kill your son. You gotta kill your son, and then her be like, okay, I'll kill my son. No.
Well, do we want to, for the last time in season 2, take it to the boards? Where are we at with dragons, Alex?
We are holding at 14 dragons with an 11-3 spread. We did get our first glimpse of Sheep Stealer this week, and I liked that she had like they had claws, which sort of distinguished them. You can check our TikTok for a dragon rundown with special nicknames if that might help you remember. But Sheep Stealer has claws.
Better to eat you with. We added the how much time has passed tracker because of season 1, and I think it has been steadily hours to days all season.
Which will continue into this next coming season. Should we retire this category until there is a big time jump?
Yeah. Let's raise the jersey up and retire it until the realm needs it again.
So it shall be written, so it shall be done. So we got some visions this episode. Did we get any new characters introduced?
Kind of. And the people we see are people from Game of Thrones. We are introduced to Daenerys. We see the three-eyed crow or three-eyed raven, depending on whether you're book or show first. Brynden Rivers. We see him both as the crow and as himself. We met him in Game of Thrones.
We record that.
I forget exactly where he is as far as chronology goes, but it's definitely pretty far post this one and like about halfway between.
Yeah. Brynden Rivers is already gone and I think presumed dead by maybe a generation by the time Robert's Rebellion happens.
Yeah. I think he's just after
The Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
Night of Seven Kingdoms, but don't quote me on that.
I seem to remember him. We talked about this during our Night of the
No,
Seven
he's
Kingdoms.
in the mystery. He's in one of the stories.
That's when he's a young man.
Yeah.
So just to give everybody some timing, but an extremely important figure in the lore as it moves on. This is what Daemon needed in order to.
I'd say he's arguably the most important non-Targaryen or Stark as far as the mythos itself of how are we going to defeat the White Walkers.
Yep. Yep.
And also we see Daenerys and her dragons, and we get a glimpse of one of the children of the forest.
Yeah.
As well. Everybody watching through the Weirwood network, basically.
Yes. Yes.
They're doing their own crash course on House of the Dragon.
There was some romance this episode, and it was funny because it's Rhaenyra once again gets to have two exciting relationships.
Yeah. We had wholesome Daemon and Rhaenyra.
Yeah, best they've ever looked.
Yeah. Which is as creepy as liking Aegon and Larys.
Yep. He tried to kill her
Their
3 weeks
healthy
ago.
Relationship. Yeah.
David's physically abusive to his spouses.
Mm-hmm. But he's changed because he didn't kill her? Question mark. I'm uncomfortable with that joke already.
Yeah, I think I wrote in my notes about this whole thing. I was like, oh, this is lame, but in an extremely authentic way.
Yeah. And we also got a little bit of will they, won't they, with Alicent Rhaenyra. Maybe not will they, won't they, but
Will they? Nope.
Yeah.
Alicent, Alicent is, I'm out, so bye. And it was one of my favorite quotes of the episode where she says, I'm at last myself. And I really related to the coming into awareness of my autonomy. Just as an adult, as you're like, oh, wait, really, no, truly, I am the only person driving this bus, and therefore I'm the one who's going to take all the consequences. So therefore, I should make my own rules. And she asks Rhaenyra to come with her. And a lot of people look at this and ask and are like, oh, clearly Alicent, clearly they're romantically entwined. But I'm curious to your thoughts about that. It kind of seemed to me like Alicent was just like ready to bounce and was like, I got a car. You want to go?
Yeah, I was going to make a joke about, she had her little campsite in the woods, but no, Alicent just invited Rhaenyra to the cottage.
She did. And it was a great cottage. I hope this isn't their last scene together. I don't know that it will be. I don't know the lore enough to think that it would, but I want them to Thelma and Louise it. I've already had one fake death. Go to Essos.
Yeah.
Hang out with
We know that this method works.
Be with Shariko. Be one of Shariko Lohar's wife. She treats him good, I bet.
Oh, that was a highlight I can't believe I didn't mention, because that's one of the things that I think felt so out of place with this episode, but was still really good, was everything.
The worst day of Tyland's life.
Yeah, with Tyland and Lohar.
So good.
She's a delight.
She's great. She's a trans activist
Daenerys
and historian, by the way.
Sorry?
She is a trans activist and historian, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm gonna butcher.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, if you look up her name, her kind of history and how she got to this point will come up, and it's really fascinating, and she's really cool, and I'm excited that she got this job.
Yeah, she's fantastic. Daenerys needed
She
a
really did.
Shirako Lohar.
She really did. I imagine if Daenerys had been sold to Shirako instead of Khal Drogo,
Al Drogo.
they would have had a lifestyle channel.
Game
Um,
of Thrones would just have been a travel blog.
or like Jon is trying to win the Song of Ice and Fire, do all that stuff. Meanwhile, it's just like HGTV over in Essos.
So, and we had this is I think the second time it's happened in this series. We had a zero deaths episode.
Yeah, which is
Maybe that's one of the reasons that it felt a little incomplete.
oh, I guess a bunch of people died at Shark Point.
That oh yeah, that's true. But
Faceless victims.
yeah,
But who's slayed? Who do you think slayed this week, and who do you think got cut?
I'm gonna have to go with as far as who slayed. Definitely Alan of Hull.
Mm.
He had his first real opportunity to say anything to Dad on equal footing, and what he said was "fuck you." And like,
Bitch. Like,
yeah, yeah. What about for you?
I would say Slade Alicent did what she came to do. And I appreciated the bravery in making oneself vulnerable. And I said for who got cut, unfortunately, would be Aegon because his mom
Yep.
was fine with killing him.
Okay. Uh, for my who got cut, I thought about Aegon, but the the buddy comedy we're working towards canceled that out. So for me, it's Aemond, where he tried doing what always works, which is I'm gonna bully my way through something, and he crashed and burned. So we switched it up. He said, "Okay, well, I'm gonna try to actually be earnest for once." And Helena's response was, "I picture you dying."
You killed our brother.
Slash my husband.
I can see inside of you.
So yeah.
It's all inevitable.
And again, I always blank on the actor's name, but I have so much respect for how he handles Aemond.
Ewan Mitchell.
It would be so easy to make it ludicrous,
Yeah.
and it's not.
It really isn't. I think it helps that Aemond is also a teenager because the ways that he is flamboyant and ridiculous are grounded in his age. Who was your? Oh, go on.
I was going to ask you, who was your most valuable, your MVP, your most valuable parenting?
Alan for parenting Corlys and parenting himself and parenting his brother and just parenting everybody because he's the first officer, but he's not smiling enough. Really? Okay, Dad. I'll try and smile some more.
Yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
How about for you?
Well, obviously not going to give it to Alicent for, okay, we can get rid of one kid.
I
So
thought
I was
about it.
tempted to give it. I was tempted to give it to Rhaenyra just for not bargaining away one child, but instead I'm going to give it to Helena, both for her bitch slapping Aemond and for her "now I see you, Peter" with Daemon Targaryen in the Weirwood.
She that actually brings us to Queen of Love and Beauty because mine was Helena for all of the reasons we have stated up above. Up thread.
Yeah, that would have been mine if we didn't have the joint winners of Tyland Lannister, Admiral Sharanko Lohar, and Mrs. 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 Admiral Sharanko
The
Lohar.
correct response to her question was, "How many wives do you have?" And
Yeah.
I wanted, in that moment, I wanted to be Tyland's life coach, like his wing woman, and been like, great, he will take it, sign him up. What are the time slots? Let's go. My boy here, it's going to make them very happy. It's going to make your wives very happy.
I'm going to need some electrolyte drinks.
Yep. I need some protein.
In it to win it, coach.
And with that, friends, oh my goodness, we've crashed our course.
Yeah, we are now venturing into the unknown.
We are caught up.
Yeah. So we will be back to discuss season 3, episode 1 of House of the Dragon with some very initial thoughts on Sunday, hopefully live. But if not, we'll have them in your ears as soon as we can.
Sounds good. Bye, folks.
And
See you
thanks, folks,
soon.
for taking us on this ride.
It has been a blast. Thanks for coming with us.
Yep.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bye, folks. Oh, and sorry, I forget we haven't released it yet. We will be back with Girls Gone Canon later this week for a spoiler book and show spoiler full
Round table.
roundtable discussion.
Get you all hype.
Yep. Bye, folks.
Bye.